What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at the Power Rangers Dino Charge, Megazord, Raptorzord, and Parazord. First, I want to give a big shout out to my good friend Dino over at TokuNation.com, for without him, I would not have these figures, simply because my area is not charged up, and his was. So, at the time of this post, you're going to see my video, but if you head over to TokuNation.com, there are going to be a couple of galleries for this guy, these other two Zords, and some comparisons gallery. I will be doing, or I should say, this review will be the review of the standalone Megazords, and then after this review will be a second video that is a comparison video. I'm going to be putting both of those up at the same time, so you'll be able to just jump back and forth between the videos to see what's going on. So, first up is the Dino Charge Megazord itself. I wanted to show off the box really quick. Nice, colorful box, easy to see Dinozord or Megazord. Battery is right here on the left. The actual it's not textured, but the actual design of the box mimics the suits, and the rest of the box is just your plain old Megazord type box. One complaint I do have about all of Bandai's boxes lately is they actually don't have the name of anything. So even though it's got the Zord builder, all we have are numbers. Just the numbers of the products here on the back. No actual names. The inside is, well, the figure's already loose because Dino opened it up to take pictures. So the figure that you get the actual Megazord. It's in here pretty well. The Dino battery, the Stego spikes and tail, and then pink Triceratops's back and drill bit. And then his feet are also in the box, and then the Megazord itself, which, as I said, is in here pretty good. So taking a quick look at the Beast batteries, I'm sorry, they're not Beast batteries, these are called Chargers. You will see that we have the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Parasaurolophus, and the Velociraptor. So the American versions have the actual names of the dinosaurs on the back, as opposed to the Gabutera or Stegochi. Also, another big difference, other than the size, which these guys are much smaller, is the number of flips that it has. So we have a fossil, halfway between fossil and dino, dino, halfway between dino and fossil, and then back to fossil. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sided, which is weird because if I remember correctly, the Beast batteries were only 2-sided. I will double check that. But here they are, and they each have a QR code because, you know, QR codes are cool and stuff. No, they really aren't. And here we have the 5 Zords: green, pink, red, blue, and black. Now, if you've been a fan of the Power Rangers fandom, then you know that at I believe it was Toy Fair or at a recent event earlier this year, pink was actually not pink. It was dark purple. But there was a huge fan outcry and, well, now it's pink. One thing that is striking right off the bat is just the amount of paint that is on these guys. Bandai of America has actually added some good paint apps to these. I think Stegosaurus and Triceratops do suffer a little bit from lack of paint apps, but as you could see, Tyrannosaurus, Raptorzord, and Parazord actually have silver accents, which the Japanese counterparts had. A very good idea, because if they didn't, these things would not be very good. Here, giving you guys a 360-degree look at Tyrannosaurus right now. As you can see, the one side of the figure is completely bare of any real good paint, while the other side, which is going to be the Megazord front-facing side, has more paint. I understand why they did this, but it really does make the figure look unbalanced. So I guess whenever I'm going to pose him or put him on the shelf, this side is going to be facing towards the viewer. The only other issue I have are the Zord builder ports sticking out, well, in 3 different places, chief of which up here, and then on his legs. The ones on his legs don't bother me that much. It's just this one up here that's just really unsightly. The overall build quality of this guy is pretty darn good, and even though he is made of mostly hollow plastic with all those screw holes, it's not bad. Triceratops and Stegosaurus are both good figures as well. They do lack a little bit of paint, like I said, but I'm very glad that Bandai took the extra effort to actually paint the very tips of their snouts or beaks and their eyes. If those weren't painted, that would be a real problem, because you really wouldn't have any idea of what the figures are supposed to be representing, in all honesty. I think the paint is really important, especially with Power Ranger figures. Overall, both of these figures are nice, and they do feel good. They're very light, though, but the quality of the plastic, I should say, the plastic of itself does feel pretty stiff. I do worry that I am going to break them if I drop them from a great height, as in a height higher than, say, 5 feet. The Megazord is done well, I think, is also the yellow and the silver and the black really pop. With those black eyes, it really makes the figure look nice and cool. I like the straight tail, and I do appreciate the silver accents all over the figure. And by all over the figure, I mean in like 4 or 5 or 6 different places. It does feel like a good figure, and it doesn't feel fragile either, which is something I was a little bit worried about with this and the Raptorzord. The Raptorzord also feels pretty good, but the only real complaint I have with the figure has to do with the way his tail gimmick works, which you'll see here in a second. The Raptor is equally well painted, and I get just an overall good vibe from both of these guys. Inserting the Charger into each of the dinos gives a different battle mode, even though the battle modes really aren't anything to talk about. For Tyrannosaurus, we put the Charger in his mouth, and then close his head, and the yellow spikes on the back of his head pop up. For Tricera, we lift up the head, just like the Japanese version, and we put the Charger in, and the tail extends, or the drill tail extends. For Stego, open the mouth, put the Charger in, and the sword bit extends. Open the mouth, just like the Japanese version, and plug the battery in. Maybe. Sorry, I didn't open the mouth far enough. And his tail opens into a gun. Finally, for Velociraptor, or Raptor, put the battery in, or open the mouth all the way, and then put the battery in, and his tail knives will open up. Unlike the Japanese version, where it actually opens and they're all parallel, you get this forked, like Wolverine-esque claw look. And I do worry about these pins breaking. But other than that, it's kind of cool. All right, now that we've looked at the individual gimmicks, let's go ahead and get him merged up, or the figures merged up. To start off with, we're going to just take Tricera, open the mouth up all the way. Oh, and the back pops off, but we'll leave it on. And fold up the legs. And that's all we do for that one. For Stego, pop that backpack off and fold up the legs here. Actually, fold up the legs correctly and leave him like that. Put him off to the side. Now for this guy. It's a little bit different than the Japanese version. I'm going to fold the head up to start, grab the tail and pull the tail out and open it up. Come to the legs and fold the legs straight back, and those clacking, cracking, that does not sound good at all. Then, the one thing that's really interesting with the legs is when you fold them back like this, there are pegs back here, and they actually peg into the bottoms of the feet, or the backs of the feet. So get those pegged in, and then flip them down, and you're supposed to be able to fold out front bits here on the Japanese version, not so on the American version. Split the legs apart and the helmet will fall out. Fold the dino arms down, turn the torso around, drop the helmet on, put the back or the tail, plug that into the backpack as a backpack, and then attach Stego and Tricera. And finally, fold up the sword tip to give him his sword. And here we have the Dino Charge Megazord. the Dino Charge Megazord is actually really good looking. I'm quite surprised. I did not think Bandai would be able to pull off the look of Kyoryuger, whatever, the Megazord from Kyoryuger, the initial version. I can't remember the name. It's just completely lost on me right now. But what we have here from Bandai of America is actually a very good representation of it. I'm really surprised, in all honesty. As I said, I did not think they would be able to pull it off. Now, there are some little tiny nagging issues that I have with the thing, but they're more just me being really nitpicky. I think the shoulders are much too loose, but that's because the shoulders are actually Zord builder components, which I'll show you here in a second. And I would have loved to have seen a little bit more detail on the legs, maybe some extra paint, some silver paint. That would have been nice, but c'est la vie. Overall, I think we have here a very good Megazord that kids are going to love. Another thing that really impresses me about this figure is his head sculpt, or I should say face sculpt. As you can see in the helmet, he looks pretty detailed, but if you remove the helmet, he looks really, really good. I'm just kind of shocked and amazed that Bandai put this much effort into making the face. It's got plenty of paint apps, and it looks awesome. Very good job, Bandai. For merging up Para and Velociraptor, their transformation is a little bit dumbed down from the Japanese version. To start, just take the legs and flip them over the figure like this until the legs hit the shoulders. You can straighten them out, and then take the arms and fold them back. Now, that's actually not the way they show it in the directions. The directions are a little messier for both. The directions actually have it going where you take the arms here and you flip them around like this, and then you just take the legs and flip them forward like so. And, you know, in either case, that's really ugly. And here's the version that we had called Western in the Japanese version. However, looking on the boxes and looking in the directions, there's actually no name for this combination, which tells me that in the show it'll have a name, but for whatever reason in the directions, yeah, there's no name, which I find really, really annoying. And like with all Zord Builder sets, things can get a little weird. I think Bandai of America should be very proud of what they've done here. They've made some very, very good Megazords out of what is ostensibly a very difficult to adapt Japanese toy line. These figures are solid, they feel good, they have decent paint apps for American figures, and overall they are just fun. But most importantly, Optimus Prime can ride the Tyrannosaurus Rex with no problems. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review of Power Rangers Dino Charge first 5 Megazords. I am really hopeful for this series, and I hope it delivers show-wise and toy-wise. As always, I am Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and head over to TokuNation.com to check out some awesome galleries. I will catch you next time.